All right, it is 6:30. I will call this meeting to order. Today is December 1st, and this is going to be a regular select board meeting. And additions to the agenda, I have none. Sandy, Jean, Michael, or Wendy, is there anything I'm not aware of? Everybody's good? All right. Chair's remarks, I have none. Open public comments on agenda items only. Seeing only Chief here, I think we're good there. Guests, we do have Chief David Emery with us, and that is all. And with that, Chief, I'm going to turn it over to you for a COVID-19 update, please.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, I'm not going to be bearing great news for you all as we have done in the past. Vermont continues to be rising rather than lowering. They're predicting a spike upon a spike. They said it's going to continue to get worse as the days progress. As of today, there's 63 new cases just today. 21 in the hospital, 5 in the ICU, and sadly the deaths continue. We're now at 72. So it's not getting better by any means. So the concern right now that the state and the governor has shared with everyone is we'll see the spike primarily because of Thanksgiving with the travel, with everything that took place, even though it was attempted to, encourage people not to do that. There was encouragement to, only participate with people that live in your household. And unfortunately, they won't know the results of how that happened until we get a few more days down the road. So with that said, the new things that are out, it says anyone who is gathered outside of their households during Thanksgiving should get tested. It's easily done. I recently did it. You can go on healthvermont.gov/COVID testing, and you can sign up and go for a test, and they're free of charge. The one I got into was at BMH on a Sunday morning. So that's easy, and they're encouraging people to do that. They're saying even with mild symptoms, if you have a sore throat or a dry cough, you should be getting tested. Obviously, masks are still apparently working very well, and wearing a mask and washing your hands. And probably the biggest one as of today, they're encouraging even limiting your travel within the state of Vermont. So it's not seeing, a great things are happening. However, there is a glimmer of hope. The glimmer, there's 3 companies that have vaccine that hopefully is going to become available. They're talking about millions of people being able to be vaccinated. Vermont might even see some of it starting to take place as early as December 15th. However, that still hasn't been written in stone. And then comes the complication of who gets vaccinated first. And obviously the governors are meeting regularly with people to decide who would do that, who would be the first. And I think right now the list is emergency workers, healthcare workers, and the population that are at most risk. Then it'll trickle down from there. They're saying that hopefully in April or May, we should see a significant change in the COVID problems. But April or May is still a long ways away, and a lot of people are going to get sick, and a lot of people are unfortunately going to pass away. So with that, I guess I'm looking at my notes. I don't have anything else. I don't have any good news for you right now. So if there's questions or anything I can else answer, I know I talked with Mark Snow earlier. He was going to try to get on, but he didn't know he was busy with some work stuff. And he has the same thing. There was nothing else on his behalf at this point.
Okay. Chief, have you heard anything about the schools in our area? Anything that might be coming down the pike for them?
Well, I think I reported to you last week. The schools are one of these things again, and it doesn't look like it's going to change. They're going to stay where they are right now. There is still a plan to do additional days the second semester in January. But I think it's being run on a day-to-day basis. I haven't heard from Mary Ross today, so I don't know if there's any new, because there were some new changes today, but I don't know what it did to affect the schools.
Okay, perfect. Sandy, any questions for Chief Emery? No. Jean, any questions?
No.
Jeff? Michael?
No, sir.
All right. Sandy, for record purposes, Mary Lynn, Ken Bloom, and Catherine Baldwin have all joined us. Chief, I have no questions. Does anybody, Mary Lynn, Catherine, Wendy, anybody else have any questions about COVID-19? Seeing none, Chief, you're all set. I appreciate you taking time to inform us to wash our hands and wear our face masks.
Yeah, well, thank you, and keep doing it. I'm watching.
Yes,
and don't
sir.
worry, Santa is watching you.
All right, next we will go to approval of minutes from the regular meeting on November 17th. We also have a budget meeting from November 18th. I'm not sure if anybody objects to putting those together or not.
No.
Nope.
No objection.
So I would be looking for a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from November 17th and the special budget meeting minutes from November 18th, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, and all those in favor, Sandy?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Chris? Aye. Next, we will go on to bills and warrants, please, Jean.
Okay. I move that we approve payment of the following warrant. 11T, accounts payable, $719,172.29. 46S payroll, $6,853.76. And 47S payroll, $7,631.36.
Second.
Moved and second, and all those in favor, Sandy?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Chris? Aye. All right. Last meeting we met and discussed actually, I think it was at the budget meeting, we discussed questions for the engineer, and I apologize, I just skipped one. We have been requested to appoint Catherine Baldwin to the Capital Planning Committee. That recommendation came from Linda at our last meeting. We are joined tonight by Ms. Baldwin, and I would be looking for a motion to entertain that.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to appoint Catherine Baldwin to the Capital Plan Committee. All those in favor, Sandy?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Chris? Aye. Catherine, thank you very much for stepping up to that. It's great. It's always nice to see people that are want to be involved and know what's going on and be a part of that. And we certainly, as a select board, recognize it's not always a glorious job holding positions and committees in this town, but it's greatly appreciated. So thank you. And on that, we will go into the consideration of questions to be posed to the engineer. Those were all sent via email. I'm not sure if everybody has them in front of you. And I believe, Wendy, did you organize those, or was that in conjunction ideas that you had gotten from Linda?
Yes, this was taken from the conversation that you had at the meeting, and there's really just one question that is on the list so far. It has to do with 3 underground fuel tanks, and the question that the committee had was, do these really need to be replaced? Because they had received no notice from the state that the tanks need immediate replacement. So that's the first question, but then this agenda item is to give the select board an opportunity to
Sure.
add questions to the list.
Okay. So given the multiple conversations that we've had, and we have had ample time to look over this, and certainly not saying that any of us have sat there and read all 255 pages. Is there any questions? Because I believe Linda had said that we have 1 hour for free interaction with this company. So in an effort to get as much bang for our buck, if you will, to have some questions prepared that the capital plan may be able to ask them during that meeting. Is there anything that the select board has thought of or would like to have some clarity on?
Now, Chris, will the capital plan be meeting with them, or will we?
You're correct. We will be meeting with them.
Okay.
Actually, I have to rethink. I thought Linda said that she was, Jean, I see you. Can you clarify, please?
Weren't they going to meet? They actually have it on their agenda for their next meeting to go over questions for the engineer. I think we said that they could meet. Maybe one of us would be
Sure.
in on that.
I believe it was more in line with that we were supposed to pose questions for them to ask during that meeting. Wendy, is that sounding familiar to you?
Yeah, I had the impression that it was a joint meeting, not necessarily a joint meeting of both boards, but a meeting of one of the boards at which there would be members from the other board.
Okay.
And I would just say, if you have questions after this meeting, I would suggest you send them along either to me or to Linda, and then they can be shared with the rest of the board.
Sure.
It is a good opportunity. It does make sense to compile all of your questions together for that 1 hour.
And did we reach out to any of the department heads to see if they had any questions about this?
I did not, but I can if you like.
Well, I think the capital plan committee was doing that because I gave them the copies of what was related to their department in that report. And they were supposed to go over that and get back to the capital plan committee, I think, as to what they saw as, needs or questions or whatever.
All right, so we'll leave that the way that it is, and we can follow up with Linda to see if that's happening. Is there any questions that the select board has that we would like to send to the planning commission to try and get clarity on?
So, question, Chris?
Sure.
Jean just talked about sending it to department heads and stuff, and at our advisory committee meetings, we've talked a couple times about energy audits and stuff down at the fire department. And I know years and years ago that was done, and now those things have changed. Did Alex get that part of the report?
I can't answer that other than I believe, and Chief Emery, please, I believe you were the only one that had been given that originally once those were doled out. Did you receive a copy of that pertained to the fire department?
I got some stuff from the capital committee from Linda.
Okay.
However, is that the one you're talking about?
Well, it would have been the capital needs assessment that was done over the summer. So it would have to do with the condition of the interior and exterior of the building and those types of needs.
No, I did not get a copy of that. However, I had a conversation with Linda about that. And we specifically talked about the roof because that was coming up soon in the capital. But we
Okay.
didn't go over the rest of that. So,
All right.
I would agree with Mary Lynn that if Alex may be interested in seeing that, or
Yeah, I think all of you need to see that, to be perfectly fair. When is your next meeting?
Thursday.
Thursday. Wendy or Jean, I apologize. Can we find a way to get the fire department information over to Chief Emery so that that can be addressed at their meeting in case they have questions that should need clarity?
Yeah, I can try to make some more copies. I always have to rack my brain to find these things. Yeah, because I think I put their stuff in their mailbox here when there was really no leadership in
Okay.
that department.
Is it, Jean, is it a printed copy that you have?
Yeah, I have both. I have both. I have a digital copy too, but
I mean, if it's a printed
yeah.
copy, if you want to leave it, I can come pick it up and then I can scan it and email it to all our committee people.
yeah, the thing is, the whole thing is,
I mean, the part that pertains to the fire department.
okay, well, I could scan that and send it to you if you want, or you want to pick up a paper copy?
I mean, it doesn't matter,
Okay.
whichever way works easiest.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be around tomorrow, but what I'll do it tonight.
Or Thursday morning's fine. Or you just let me know when you have it ready and
Okay,
I'll run up, put it in my mailbox there and let me know and I'll come get it.
okay.
I'll
I
be
will do that.
physically there on Thursday if that's helpful.
Yeah, because I don't know if I have contact stuff from Mary Lynn, so maybe
Tim
I'll.
does. Yeah, Tim does,
Okay.
Cindy does,
Okay.
so.
Okay,
Well, it's up, however it works best. I have a paper copy here. It's the only one that I have, but I would be happy to drop that off somewhere if somebody wanted to make copies of it. It is the full
All right.
Yeah.
report. It's 255.
yeah, I have paper copies of it too, so.
Okay, all right.
Okay, well, or if you want to drop it by my office, Chris, and I can pull out what is fire department and then scan and email it, whatever works. I'm open.
Wendy or Jean, any preference on that? I don't mind either way, as long as we get the info to them.
I can easily make some copies here and get
Perfect.
All
to
right,
the
Right,
other
and if you
side of the
can't-
building.
I can do it on Thursday.
Yep,
Awesome. All
All
right,
right,
so
thank you.
we'll get that to you guys, and that'll give you something to look over. It's riveting. You guys are going to thoroughly enjoy reading it. Yeah,
Yes.
see, Dave, thumbs up. You're gonna it's gonna be great.
well, you're not getting the 250 pages.
sorry I mentioned it. No.
Oh, you're not getting it.
All right, so that would help, and I would just ask that as you guys are looking over that as your advisory committee, keep questions in the back of your mind that we may need to be asking the engineers, whether it's a timeline issue or anything that might pop up, and those could just get over to Linda for a discussion if that works for you guys. So, is there anything else in there that pertains to the other buildings in town or other town issues that that we would like some clarity on with this engineer company? Sandy, is there anything coming to mind for you?
I think they were pretty clear.
I would agree. Jean?
No, not really.
Jeff?
No.
Michael?
No, sir.
Wendy, have you had a chance to look at that at all, or have some type of knowledge of what this is all about?
No, but I actually really want to look at it, and I think it would be riveting. Seriously, I like stuff like that. So as soon I will get my hand on it either through this process or through a different process.
Okay, perfect. All right, any other discussion about questions for the engineer or capital planning committee stuff? Seeing none, I'd like to go to old business with the recycling program. At the last meeting, we had asked Wendy to take a look and see what other towns were doing, how things could possibly work, to specify residential and exclude commercial from our recycling program. And then a discussion on stickers versus bags for the curbside waste program. So I believe in the email that was sent out, there was some language put in there for that. And is there any discussion on this?
Yes, under for household garbage and trash, we need to add J-spec.
Yes, thank you. Cindy mentioned that, and yes, J-spec on Pond Road is what I have.
And maybe put after at the town hall when it's open, because right now they can't purchase them at the town hall.
Right, good point.
Otherwise, I think it's great.
Cindy also noticed that the price for the small
Price
bag
change?
was
Okay.
incorrect,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I fixed that. And then on the reverse side of this would be just general information on what's recycling, you know, newspapers and that kind of stuff.
Any discussion, questions, comments, thoughts on this? Sandy,
I think it looks good.
Jean,
No, it's good. I think it clearly says no commercial, so.
Jeff,
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Michael?
It's good to me.
I don't really know. I mean, there's no way to put any, and this probably isn't even the place for it, but any type of language that would allow any consequence for businesses that are putting them out there? Or is that between us and Triple T where we tell them that if it's in front of a business, they just keep on driving?
We have to know.
Right. Right. Well, and that's why, I mean, that kind of gets into the bag discussion too. That's the way that you show that it's residential. I mean, typically businesses wouldn't want to pay by bag. You would generally have more garbage and you would pay by a dumpster or something like that. But a business could conceivably put, you know, use like a small business in a house could use a pay-as-you-throw bag. And I don't think that that's necessarily a problem, but I should think about that a little bit.
Well, it's more the recycling that was the problem, because
Right.
that was a free-for-all of way too much cardboard going out. So I'm curious if that is the solution, that we send a copy of this to Peter at Triple T and we say, this is what we're sending to the residents. This is what this program is going to be. Please refrain from picking up commercial waste that would add to our taxes.
Yes, I'm sure he would be fine with that. Because he doesn't want to pick up commercial waste in the residential recycling program.
Right.
Or commercial recycling, I should say, I'm sorry.
Yep. Michael, you were saying something. I think I cut you off.
No, it's fine.
Any further discussion on that? So with that, what would the next step be on that, Sandy, to get this out into the public and just make sure that these rules are kind of spelled out?
Do a mass mailing.
So do we need a motion to approve funds to do that, or?
Yeah, probably. Well, it wouldn't hurt. I move that we distribute this through a mass mailing, and we take the money out of whatever fund the treasurer deems necessary, since I don't know which one.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor to do a mass mailing for the curbside, specifically the curbside recycling, but hinting on the pay-as-you-throw program as well. All those in favor, Sandy,
Yes,
Jean,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Michael,
I believe abstain is what I need to do.
Michael is saying he abstains, and Chris will be an aye.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I can also check and see if Triple T can distribute this when they collect, because they could leave a copy in the recycling bin possibly. Not necessarily in place of the mailing, but in addition to, just to get the word out.
That would be appreciated. And then without getting into a lengthy discussion over stickers versus bags, it seems like we have a little bit of time to really make that decision before we have to start worrying about it. Wendy has done a great deal of research and looked into it and kind of weighed the pros and cons. I believe that I forwarded an email to everybody kind of outlining that. And is there any discussion on that? Or Wendy, if you'd like to give a quick rundown of your findings on that, that might be helpful.
Sure. I looked at it from the perspective of the cost to the customer, assuming that the town would pass through the costs of providing either stickers or bags on a one-to-one basis to the customer. So if you look at stickers on their own are less expensive than bags, but the customer will still have to buy a bag to put the garbage in. So I looked at just sample bags at Walmart, and obviously there's hundreds of them, but just to keep it as simple as I could, I looked at recycling bags that are sold for recycling. And when you run the numbers, the savings to the customer would be actually 0 for a large bag and 5 cents for a small bag. So it's a very small savings. And then the disadvantage of doing bags versus, the disadvantages of doing stickers versus bags, the main one is compliance, because folks can put more garbage out or recycling garbage than you expect and that you plan for. So the town actually ends up paying those extra costs. And in Vernon, it's a particular issue because Franklin and Sons collects garbage on the same day. And now they can, by the color of the bag, their drivers know which customers are theirs and which are not. So that it could be more confusing, or it would be more confusing if everyone could use just whatever bags they wanted to. So, and negotiating renegotiating the contract with Triple T is also a disadvantage. That contract's only four months old. So just from what I've found so far, I think it makes sense to do another year with the bags, address the quality of the bags. I talked to the provider. They would give us a few free cases because we reported problems. Discuss the program at town meeting, see what the feeling is of town meeting, and then reevaluate again in a year, because the program is still very fresh. At least this iteration is. Your contract is very fresh. Or I can do more research if you want.
Sandy?
Sounds good. I find it, I wonder how it would be if it wasn't recyclable bags at Walmart.
Well, I did actually give you costs for the other bags. And it's not that the bags are recyclable. The bags are sold as recycling bags. So
Okay.
I thought they would be roughly similar to the bags because they come in all sorts of, some have ties, some stretch, some are thicker. It's hard to find the exact same thing.
Right.
And I actually expected the bags to be much more expensive, the pay-as-you-throw bags to be much more expensive than they were relative to the bags at Walmart.
Thank you.
Jean?
Yeah, I don't see really the cost of the bag as an issue. It's the cost of getting rid of the trash and whether we want to keep storing bags or store stickers. But if other towns have had problems with the compliance with stickers, then I can see how that could be an issue. People would get these, like contractor bags and put a sticker on it, and it'd be twice as much as it should be in there. So maybe continue with the bags for now.
Right. And the company who supplies the bags, obviously they have an interest in you buying bags. They're happy to come and give you a presentation. The stickers, especially the way Westminster does them, there's some questions about how compliant that is with the state law, because the state does want you to encourage people to recycle more and throw away less garbage. And the compliance, it gets kind of complicated, because what would probably happen is people would use slightly larger bags, maybe not twice the size, but just a little bit bigger. And then it's hard for the hauler to leave garbage there, because you're going to have an angry customer. And then when you start not leaving garbage there, then people get used to it and they know they can use a little bit bigger of a bag, and it kind of snowballs.
Right.
And the fund
Yeah.
is already in not great shape, from what
Right.
brief look at it. So I don't think this is a place where you want to set yourself up to have your costs be more than your revenues.
Right. We probably keep better control because we're controlling the bags also.
Yes.
With the exception of how many bags went missing because of a lack of inventory.
Well, there is that.
There's that, and there's the ungodly amount of space that's taken up for storage of these. And it is what it is. We certainly don't have to switch the program, but I can say that when I used the pay-as-you-throw bags, I was able to cram 3 of my household garbage can bags into one of the large green bags, and I know for sure I am not the only one doing that. So,
Oh, wow.
that's it's exactly the same as what you're saying, Wendy. That somebody's going to use a bigger bag, and if it fit in that bag, like the post office, if it fits, it ships. I was putting it out there. So I can see it. It came up at last town meeting that part of this is that we are taking food scraps out of the trash now. So the amount of waste is going down, which is increasing the tipping fees. And there was that whole thing. So it was almost like the less participation that we had in this program, the bigger of a burden it was on the other folks. So, and we've seen more and more people start switching over to the dumpster. So I guess my question isn't as much, do we switch to stickers or do we keep with bags? My question is more, how sustainable is this program? We've asked this question for 2 years. The town's made it clear that they want to keep it and they want to keep paying for it. But anytime the bag prices or sticker prices or whatever prices go up to keep this, it becomes clearer and clearer that this is just not a sustainable program. And why we are continuing to drag this along is beyond me, but that is not my choice. I am one person. Jeff, do you have anything on this?
I agree with you, Chris. If we're going to change something, I still think stickers are the way to go. I'm willing to go along with, another order of bags, and as we can review this, but I guess, yeah, there's an issue of compliance, but if you charge enough for a sticker and say, use as big a bag as you want, that would encourage people to use big bags. But I don't see the need for a multi-tier pricing system for stickers. And I guess, so if the issue is non-compliance, there's got to be some way that we can deal with that. I guess, Wendy, I guess the question I got or maybe you eventually can find out, is how many customers does Franklin and Son serve in Vernon versus Triple T? And I would suspect Triple T picks up quite a bit more garbage than Franklin and Son. So I don't really see that as a,
Right.
I mean, to me, if Franklin and Son don't know where the customers are, it's not up to us to make things convenient for them. They
And I
can
feel the
pick
same
it up
way
on a
about
different day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
I feel
don't
the
really
same
see
way
as
about
that
Triple
that's
T.
any reason to say no to stickers. But I'm more than willing to go along with, a small order of bags and to get us at least to town meeting and have this as a question for people attending town meeting. Because, I echo what Chris said, is like, I don't care if the whole thing's done away with. I got a dumpster and I buy bags, but again, there's plenty of towns in our area that it's up to you to get rid of your own garbage. That's all I got to say about it.
I agree with you as well, and I've raised that point previously that the compliance thing, sure, I understand it, but making it easier that Triple T or another curbside hauler can see that, oh, that's my customer, or that one has a sticker or that one doesn't. The amount of money that we pay to have trash taken out of this town, if you have to take an extra second to look for that sticker, that's part of your job. That's part of the service that you are being paid for. That's not our responsibility to bend over backwards to make it easier for you when that price continues to increase and become more of a burden on our town.
Another issue too is, we're talking about volume of bags when the town is charged by weight. So, you can have a small bag and fill it up with lead, and it's cheaper than if you had feathers in a big bag. So I like I said, dealing with getting charged for something that's not, I don't know how to explain it, but it just doesn't make any sense.
I get it.
Yep. Gene, you were going to say something?
Yeah. I think at town meeting, it has to be made really, really clear that this program will carry itself. And if bag prices have to increase, that's what will be done if they vote to continue it, and just make it really in their face. Because if you're on the end of selling bags, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about the price changes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing, is if you don't want to pay the price, then do something different.
Exactly.
I bet you those people up at J-Spec will be the first to complain.
I
No,
want
it's
you to know that I'm running a special on bags this month because it's Christmas. It's December. I'm running a special. So $21 for large bags, and small bags, 2 for $25. It's Christmas special.
Thank you.
That's awesome math.
Michael, do you have anything on this?
I agree with everybody else is saying. This is the only place I've lived that trash is free-ish. Everywhere else I've been, I get a bill every month, and I paid it. And I just think it's more simple that way.
Any further discussion? So are we all in agreement that we will purchase one more round of bags? Wendy, I know the question has been asked whether we could do a partial order. I don't know if we could maybe try and persuade them a little bit heavier to allow us to do that rather than the full 100.
Yeah, I just spoke with a person today, and she will throw in extra cases. And I wasn't under the impression that there's a minimum. It doesn't sound like there is. So I'll double check that. But maybe our order last time was just way more than we needed. maybe that's part of the problem too.
Yeah, because last time, I think we got 100 cases. We were told that it needed to be a 100-case minimum this time. I believe we were told that they asked if we could do 50 cases, and we were told no. If
All right.
if that's a possibility, I think 50 cases, because we didn't order bags last year. It's been almost 3 years, hasn't it? So we definitely don't need 100 cases of these bags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you bought some of them in 2018 and some of them I think in 17.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't realize the minimums, but I'll get on that. I'm sure they'll compromise. They want to keep you as a customer.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say is if they don't want to do any less than 100, then tell them we'll reevaluate our purchase decision.
Yeah.
Period.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, we could have stickers in 2 weeks if they don't want to give us 50 cases so that we can allow our actual residents to make this decision versus
Right.
5 people sitting here. So,
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, perfect. So, so we will wait to hear back from Wendy on whether we can do a partial. And if we can, then it sounds like we would go ahead with that order. And if not, then I guess we would have to reevaluate at our next select board meeting. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Mhm.
That's good.
All right, perfect. Any further discussion on garbage? I feel like we have discussed that for almost a year now. Perfect. Next, review of advertisement for property management services, including building cleaning, maintenance, mowing, snow plowing, and clearing of the town of Vernon properties. Included in your electronic packet, there was a yep. Hold on. There was a thing in there that kind of had a breakdown of what we possibly might be looking for. Wendy, thank you very much for putting that together. It was much more detailed than I would have been able to come up with. So that is appreciated. Has everybody had a chance to look at that? Questions, comments, concerns on that? Sandy?
It's very clear and concise. I like it.
Jean?
So I don't think that we pay for anybody to be cleaning like the fire station or what, the recreation building, is that at the pool?
I did this in a vacuum. I have not seen these buildings. So I just
Yeah.
I speculated on what you might want. And this is actually a pretty complicated program, but I wanted it to be complete rather than,
Right.
you know, to have more so that you could delete things. So I haven't even seen like the historic building, and the garage, the fire station. I don't know the layout. I haven't been there. So I guessed in a lot of situations. Frequencies I'm pretty familiar with,
Yeah.
mowing and that kind of thing. But this would be a heck of an undertaking to put this out to bid and to expect, especially one company, to provide all these services. We'd be fortunate to find someone who did want to do all of that. That's not to say it shouldn't be done, but it's going to take a little while too. And in the meantime, Cindy wrote to the folks who do the snow clearing.
Yeah.
For the
Elderly.
seniors.
Yes. And so if any of them were interested in doing that for town hall, they were going to contact the chairman. I don't know if that happened or not.
Yeah, so I did reach out to the one individual that did express some interest with Mary Lynn, and I have not received a call back yet from them. In that person's defense, that was the earlier part of this afternoon, so that was my mistake for not calling sooner.
Well, so that might be a good short-term solution, especially to the town hall situation. And then this kind of bid for property management could be a long-term solution.
So I guess what I'm saying is that what we've been paying for now and have contracts for now only involves the town office building and the property here. Like the rec department takes care of their own cleaning. They have a lot of staff there in the summer, so those kids I think, do the cleaning. And also with the fire station, they were responsible for taking care of the cleaning. So I feel like what we were looking for was really just the town office building area, the building and the grounds to be
Okay.
attended to. But there is a lot of variation here. And one other thing to add on is carpet cleaning. I know that's an issue in the library when people, especially through the winter, they're walking everywhere in here with, muddy, wet, snow, salt on their shoes, So
Okay.
that was all, yeah.
So what I can do for the next iteration of this is only look at town hall, add carpet cleaning, and just add some other, get more specific on other items. I wasn't sure how the landscape is handled, the mowing, if anyone's doing that now.
So right now we do have a contract. However, we were unsatisfied with it this year, and the only reason that we decided to stay with them this year was the gentleman that was coming down was the supervisor, and he kind of took over our property to ensure that it was done correctly. He has informed us that he will not be returning with that company next year. So given that, we don't have a large interest in staying with them, as well as they've made it clear that they will be increasing our price drastically on the next go around. So lawn care should be included in that. And on that subject, my personal feeling is that the lawn at the fire department should be cared for. The historians don't mow their lawn, correct? We pay for that.
Right.
So I believe that we should be
No.
mowing the lawn. I'm sorry, Mary Lynn?
The historian's lawn is part of the cemetery contract.
Right. So it's taken care of for them out of taxpayer funds. I do not feel that it's been very nice that people have stepped up and done that at the fire department, but I think everything else that's going on, that the requirements of their training and the things that they give up at absolutely no pay, the least we could do is drop a lawnmower off there and have that mowed when they're in town doing it anyway. That's my personal opinion, to make sure that it does not look the way that it did this year. So that's my thought. I also don't know if there's a way, and Mary Lynn, you're here, so I know you'll correct me if you disagree, but is there a way that that we can have one lawn service company that comes in and does our town, that we don't have 3 different contracts held for lawn mowing? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, to include the fire station with,
I mean, why can't the person that mows the cemeteries mow the town offices and mow the fire department? Why do we have 3 different companies that comes in here to mow town
we could,
property?
I mean, they did mow the town office there for a while. While in the interim there, they were doing that for a while.
Oh, they did that in between that whole school board debacle
Right.
and all that, right?
Right, right. They did that for a while until you got,
Yep.
until you got someone. Yeah.
So Wendy, I think that was really the hope, was that we could find a property management company that would come in, do the cleaning, do the mowing, do that snow removal at the town office, and it would be under one umbrella instead of 3, 4, 5 different contracts, or this person shows up during this season and this one's a different season. And that's really where this discussion started, because we had, when we switched over to the cleaning company that is now servicing the town offices, we're noticing that things are being forgotten or missed, or just genuinely not happy with that service. So if we could just get everything in one, that would be much easier. I don't know the whole thing with the fire department. That is me personally. I don't know what the board's thoughts are on that.
Mm.
Well, I would only quickly speak in that, and I don't want to speak for the new chief at this time, but I'm pretty sure he would probably say that they would take care of not only cleaning the building, but the grounds. The snow plowing, I think, has been done by the town in the past
Yeah.
anyway, so
Yep.
I would assume that would still continue.
Yeah.
Another thing on the town hall, the town highway department plows the parking lot, so the parking lots wouldn't be included
Right.
in this.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it says snow plowing. It's the sidewalks. Yeah,
Right.
no parking lots, no snow plowing.
And it is sad because people that would do maintenance for colleges in Massachusetts used to come in and compliment us on our building, and they wouldn't be doing it now.
Although, if you've seen over by the gazebo,
Oh, that was-
our highway department has done a fantastic job. It
They
looks
have.
great over there.
Yeah.
The gazebo and the war memorial.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wendy, what do you know what other towns around us are doing as far as the maintenance and upkeep of their buildings? Who is that falling on in other areas?
I know what Rockingham does. They have the town highway folks. There's a public works group, and they do a lot of that. Some of it's contracted out. The cemeteries are contracted out because they're particularly difficult. You got to be really careful, and it's equipment that, in that case, that Rockingham doesn't have. It's usually a combination of in-house and contracted services. So what I could do is,
What about, I'm sorry
Oh.
to interrupt, what about the cleaning of the municipal buildings, like the town offices? Who's responsible for that?
in Rockingham, we had cleaning people that were our staff that were part of Public Works.
Okay.
So you can control better, what the product is when you when the employees are responsible for it. And in some case, Rockingham and Bellows Falls are complicated because it's two different governments. So when you had one government doing it for the other government, there was a chargeback for it so that the costs were properly allocated.
Okay.
But what I can do is we can have blocks of services and then estimate what it would cost to do in-house versus actually having data after advertising it, and then also break the contract into pieces so a vendor could bid on individual pieces, so you would know the incremental cost of say the fire station versus town hall. Have those be two separate prices
Yeah.
by the vendor.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I could just bring you an updated version. And yes, please send me more comments because I haven't had a chance to go see the buildings, and I don't think I should during COVID. I'm trying to do as much at home as I can.
You need to.
Jeff, anything else on this?
No, I thought what Wendy did was well done. And yeah, obviously, there's some things included that, that we don't need to include. It would be good if we did find one company that was able to supply all those services. I don't know why there wouldn't be a company. I mean, if you got total property management, but I think with some more input as to really what we want. I mean, I agree with the frequencies with what Wendy put down, and I'm not crazy about hiring more people. This is a smaller town than Rockingham, and we don't have a public works department, so I guess I'd rather hopefully try to find one company that's going to supply all those services, and failing that, break it down into a group of services that we know we would get somebody. And going back to as far as the lawn mowing, yeah, it really would be nice just to have one company doing all the mowing in town.
What about the recreation department doing the mowing?
We don't have a mower on this site anymore. It'd be transporting a mower up.
Would be for anybody.
Hell, Runnings sells trailers for about $800.
Doesn't the town have a trailer?
It's a great question.
Yeah, they do. I guess I wouldn't expect a town employee to, use their truck for work, because it's not a work truck.
Right. Right. Well, they used to take the town pickup to take the mower from the town office building down to the fire station.
Aren't we replacing that truck and David was just going to sell it? Why couldn't that just go become the truck that's used for that?
I don't know.
Well, you got maintenance and insurance, and I don't know if it's worth that.
Okay. Michael, thoughts?
I just want to simplify, condense our contracts as much as we can. We have so much going on all the time. It's a lot to look after for somebody.
Uh-huh.
All right. So it sounds like we're all in agreement that we're on the right track. It needs to be buttoned up a little bit. Wendy is on top of it and doing awesome with it. So let's keep plugging away at that, and we will revisit this at the next meeting. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we do have some nasty stuff coming over the weekend, and I'm not really sure where that, well, I don't know, according to Michael, we do. I'm not really sure where that's going to leave us with the snow removal, given that contract. Now, I guess by rights, that contract has renewed, but I don't really know where we stand with that and whether we're going to have somebody there when it snows to remove the snow.
Hopefully it melts by Monday morning.
I like it. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, Sunday. Ooh,
Yeah, so I don't know how,
1 to 3 inches. Ooh. So has JJ said he's not going to do it anymore? Or his contract is up, right?
his contract was up, however, it automatically renewed. But he does not want to continue at that rate, and we do not want to continue at his increased rate.
Didn't we write him a letter to break the contract?
I don't know as if we did, because we hadn't finished the property management side of it. We didn't have an out for that.
I thought we had a motion to do that a while ago. I'll look it up.
But we'd have to accept his price to continue his contract. If he's informed us that he's changing the price, then.
Then he changed the contract.
Right. And we haven't accepted that.
Well, not entirely, though. I mean, I don't know as if what he did is a notification. I mean, he sent us an unsolicited bid is what he did, because somebody else had requested that from him. But it was certainly unsolicited, and so now we have that information, but it was nothing that was requested, and it was nothing that came in prior to the date of his automatic renewal of that contract. And I mean, at that point, we're splitting hairs for sure, but.
Did we all see that? Because I can't recall. I remember that situation, but I don't know that I saw it.
No, you didn't all see it because it was an unsolicited bid.
Yeah,
that we,
yeah.
Yeah.
Should probably check with Larry.
Okay. Should know back in a week or so.
You can only hope.
Just got to check.
All right, well, if there is snow on Monday and there's no snow removal, I will come up and shovel the walkways of the town office. I will only be able to do that until Wednesday of this week as I go in for surgery on Thursday. So hopefully we get all the snow out of the way between now and Thursday.
Deal.
Yeah.
Deal? And I believe
As the weatherman.
I believe that Michael has offered to do all the other times until we find a suitable replacement. That's
Why,
what I
thank
just
you,
heard.
Michael.
Yeah,
I
see,
work
what a
6
nice
days a week
guy.
now.
That was so
Busy
nice of
season.
you.
All right, so we'll just keep working on that. Wendy, I appreciate your efforts on that, and we'll look forward to some more information at the next meeting. Public participation on non-agenda items. Mary Lynn, Catherine, Ken, anybody got anything?
I missed the meeting when you did September 4th minutes. I think that was when Alex was appointed chief.
We corrected those for you to say that you were in person, not in Zoom.
Thank you.
Sit in the corner, it would be okay.
I was trying to behave like you continually tell me to do, so.
I know, but you, and the corner's where you usually are, so.
Yeah.
All right, does anybody else have anything else this evening? If not, town administrator report. Do you have anything there, Wendy? You're muted.
Oh,
You're muted.
Sorry. Nothing remarkable is what I was said. I'm working remotely. Don't enjoy that, but it's the right thing to do. And I'm staying on the same schedule that you had last year for the town report. So I'll be sending out emails requesting reports for those that haven't come in. But there's a good amount that I've already received. So that's it. So the best way to reach me is call or email.
okay.
Perfect.
Chris,
Upcoming, yes, go ahead, sir.
I thank you for the advice of partnering with Alex and Seth this morning. Alex is on board big time. I got to get with Seth and see what we need to do. You said something about presenting it to the town. When would we have to do that in order to meet a very Vernon Christmas deadline?
Sure. So everybody knows, Mr. Bloom reached out and wanted to know if there was a possibility of doing a Christmas parade with Santa Claus riding around town, much like we did with the Easter Bunny. I suggested to him that he reach out to Seth and to Alex Dunkley because, as we know, Chief Emery, Santa Claus likes to ride on fire engines, so we need to involve the Vernon Fire Department for this. So I had suggested that he reach out to them, get some information, and bring it back to us to gain permission to do that. I don't know if the board is prepared to grant permission in the event that they are able to schedule that with the rec. I'm looking at the schedule for our next meeting, and I think we may be getting too close to Christmas at that point. Let me look. We would be, well, it'd be the 15th. So I don't know, Ken, what would you be looking at? It seems to me it would be the 19th.
Okay, he's gone.
No way talking.
Probably getting a calendar.
He ran away.
It was going to be on a fairly low scale, like maybe the fire engine, and then maybe a few, town officials, kind of riding in the parade, decorated cars, Santa on the fire truck. Maybe the ability to have a speaker and a sound system type of thing so we can play Christmas carols as we bop on through town. The spectators, we would probably, of course, require the social distancing, the kind of the same parade route we've taken in the past, so that people can just come out onto the street and see Santa, you know? And so I don't know if there's much that the town would need to be involved with as far as helping out. I think I can pull all the resources either from Alex or from Seth or, you know, a few friends or whatever.
Yeah, include Tim Arsenault in this.
Yes.
Tim, exactly. He's the DJ. So I did message him last night as well. So he's already in the loop.
Great.
Sandy, is there anything that we need to do with this? I mean, if the fire chief feels that he wants to drive Santa Claus around.
Not unless you want to have to fill out a parade permit. We don't have a police department to approve it.
Fantastic. Mr. Bloom, it sounds like if you can pull this together, you will be the man that saved Christmas for Vernon, and you can drive around town all you want, sir.
Well, thank you. I was watching Christmas Chronicles 2 when it came to me last night. So we can thank Mr. and Mrs. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn for the idea.
Perfect. Well, thank you for reaching out, Ken, and it's appreciated, and it's things like that that will bring some joy to the kids through this kind of crappy and off year. So it's appreciated. Thank you, sir.
Yep, we were thinking of doing, just on one other note, from a food perspective, I was thinking of doing, getting some bakers together, doing like chocolate chip cookies, but wrapped and placed in like a paper bag along with like a candy cane that's already wrapped. So just something that we can either chuck at the kids or I don't know how else to do it with COVID. Maybe we can get one of those. Does anybody have a T-shirt launcher? Maybe we could just launch them from the fire truck.
It's been a while since I've made a potato gun, but I'm up for the challenge if you'd like.
All right. Well, we'll keep everybody in the loop. But I think a very Vernon Christmas. We all need it. We all need, you know, either people are going overboard like myself. I can't wait to see the January electric bill. Or people are just all bummed out and they're, you know, crawling up in their houses and they're like, I can't even see my mom from the border of New Hampshire, you know, so we got to give people a reason to smile.
Agreed. On the note of Christmas, Jean, could you let us know? I saw you release some information about the giving tree today.
Yes, we're under operation now, so we have the tags here at the town office building. You can come and ring the doorbell and we'll come out with a list of what people are wanting and we'll get you all set up. So that's going on now through the 17th or when the gifts will be due back. You could come Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. to try to get a tag or to deliver your gifts.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for pulling that together on a strange COVID year.
Yeah.
All right, we have a meeting tomorrow night. That will be a budget meeting. And then we have another regular select board meeting on December 15th. That is the day before Michael's birthday. So bring gifts and cake and candy and all of the treats.
We can eat in front of him.
Yes. All right. If nobody has anything else, I would take a motion to adjourn, please.
I want to thank Wendy for all her work, and I was going to say motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor to get out of here, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Have a good night, everybody.